On the news, Nigerian government begins evacuation amid in Maiduguri opens IDP camps in communities affected by flood. Court grants 10 million naira bail each to #End Bad Governance protesters. And military vows to arrest killers of personnel in Okwama Community, Delta State. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I'm Simisola Adigun. As residents of Maiduguri count losses in the flooding that has ravaged communities, the Nigerian government has begun the evacuation exercise and opened up Bakassi camp to accommodate those displaced by the flood. A statement by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, on Tuesday reveals it is also working on the provision of food, shelter, and medical assistance for the victims. NEMA's response came after President Tinubu ordered the agency to immediately swing into action and assist the flood victims. The flooding disaster, considered as the worst in decades, which started last weekend and increased in the early hours of Monday, September 9, happened after the collapse of water channels at the Alau Dam, submerging major roads, houses, and shops in affected communities. Meanwhile, at least 286 inmates have reportedly escaped from the Maiduguri Medium Security Custodial Center following severe flooding in the capital city on Tuesday. In a statement, the spokesman for the service, Umar Abubakar, assured the public it is working with sister security agencies to take necessary measures to ensure public safety. Meanwhile, the general manager of the Sanda Kiarime Zoo Park, Ali Abacha, says 80% of animals in the zoo have been killed by the flood, while others have escaped into the city's capital. Well, let's discuss this evacuation exercise in Maiduguri. Journalist Jack Vincent joins us to provide updates of the situation. Thank you for speaking to us again, Jack. Now, what's the latest development right now? How's the evacuation exercise going?
Well, we thank God. A lot has been going on since yesterday, actually, because all hands are practically on deck as everybody is ensuring that the people who are trapped are accessed and are evacuated. As I speak to you right now, individuals, groups, and institutions have put heads together to ensure that these people that are trapped are accessed and then given the needed help that they need, because some of these people that are trapped lack basic things like food and water just because of lack of accessibility to them. But people have been able to come together, put heads together, and reach out to these people. So far, the evacuation exercise has been going on very well. Kudos to the military people, the soldiers. They have been using their expertise to ensure that people are accessed and rescued. And this has been going on. We are happy, and everything so far is an improvement on what we had just yesterday.
Right. Now, there have been reports that some people are now returning to their homes as the water recedes. Is that actually the case?
Well, you see, depending on the level of the water that has receded so far, yesterday, day before yesterday, what we saw were just the roof of some of these houses. But as I talk to you right now, the level has come down so much so that you can see a clearer picture of these houses that were submerged. Some people whose houses could be managed have since gone back to their houses to live their normal lives, because since this thing started, life has not been as normal as it used to be.
Finally, security has been highlighted as a major concern, especially after the escape of 286 inmates from the Maiduguri Medium Security Custodial Center, and how are residents reacting to this news?
Well, this is not the first time a thing like this is happening. We've had prison break over the years, and the reaction has always been the same. People are cautious, security conscious of their environment. People give information to the requisite agencies that look into these things. and people are calm generally. But I must point out that members of the military are doing their utmost best to ensure that there is relative calm and peace. Then the civilian JTF, the paramilitary people, everybody in uniform have come together to ensure that we have the relative safety that we desire. Nobody has been affected negatively by the break. I don't know. It was caused by the flood actually, so nobody has been affected negatively. And then the security people are making sure that these people that have escaped are brought back, and then make sure the city is gone back to normal.
No doubt the people of Maiduguri need all the help they can get at this challenging time. Journalist Jack Vincent, thank you very much for the update. Moving on, the Beijing Research Center of Huawei Technologies has announced the introduction of DigiTruck, a mobile ICT classroom project designed to improve digital literacy in underprivileged Nigerian communities. The announcement was made by Chairman of Huawei's Board of Directors, Liang Hua, when President Bola Tinubu paid a courtesy visit to its headquarters as part of his official visit to China for the 2024 Summit on China-Africa Cooperation. TV 360's Sydney Okafor completes this report.
During the tour of the Huawei Research Center's exhibition hall, President Tinubu and his delegation were introduced to Huawei's latest innovations in e-government, smart education, smart grid, and solar power, demonstrating their potential to enhance public services, digital governance, and Nigeria's inclusive development agenda. The DigiTruck initiative launched by Huawei for underprivileged communities in Nigeria is set to operate in 10 states annually and train at least 3,000 students each year.
Digital and innovative development that we need as a country, and we will pursue all opportunities. We equally overview easy in, easy out in the business opportunity. That must be two ways. Yes, thank you. For us as a country. We give you all the flexibility that may be required to invest and to exit the country anytime you want.
The Kaduna State government also signed a memorandum of understanding with Huawei Company to build Kaduna Smart City project. The governor says the project will enhance security and create transparency in public service sector in the state.
Kaduna State government have been able to attract a lot of investment in key areas from China in the last 6-7 months in the area of solid minerals, in the area of renewable energy. These are the areas we have already signed a lot of MOU with China. And of course, 2 months ago, if you recall, I was also in China where we signed an agreement with Hebei province. Hebei province is one of the most established province in China. We entered into agreement with them to be able to establish Hebei Industrial Park in Kaduna, where a lot of investors from China will leverage on that to be able to bring investment to Kaduna.
Huawei has also proposed to build 2 major technology data storage centers in Lagos and Kaduna states, which will create employment and opportunities for more young people in Nigeria, while plans are underway to establish a joint PV test lab with Nigeria's Rural Electrification Agency. Sydney Okafor, TV 360, Lagos.
A federal high court sitting in Abuja has granted 10 million naira bail each to 10 protesters of the hashtag End Bad Governance protest who were charged with attempting to overthrow President Bola Tinubu between August 1 and 4th this year. While delivering ruling in their bail applications, Justice Emeka Nwite said the protesters must produce sureties who must be property owners in Abuja and must deposit documents of the properties to the court, in addition to swearing to affidavit of means. The court also said the defendants must be willing to deposit their international passports and 3 recent passport photographs with the court. While rejecting the objections of the Inspector General of Police against the bail applications, Justice Nwite ordered the defendants not to participate in any public rally throughout their trial and to be remanded in prison custody pending the perfection of their bail conditions. More than 1 year after the murder of 17 officers and soldiers on legitimate duty in Okoma Community, Delta State on March 14, 2023, the Defense Headquarters has vowed that no matter how long it takes, the military will continue to hunt the killers of its personnel. The Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa made this known through the Chief of Defense Training and Operation, Major General Emeka Onumajuru, at the media briefing after a joint military, police and paramilitary security meeting on Tuesday in Abuja. The CDS has also vowed to capture notorious bandit leader Bello Turji, one of the most feared criminals in northwest Nigeria, after he recently imposed a 30 million naira levy on residents in Zamfara State, claiming it would protect them from further assaults. Musa described the extortion as a sign of desperation by the bandits.
The intention of the bandits is to just show that they are present. It is acts of criminality, and that's why we're appealing to Nigerians not to provide any support. If you remember the last time we had this issue where our APC was, the MRAB was bogged down and the terrorists came, it was some people that called them and told them that the troops were having issues with their vehicle and they should come around, and they came in mass. That's what exactly happened. And that's why we're appealing to individuals. If you think these guys are on your side, they're a bunch of deranged individuals that have no allegiance to anybody. Today you think you are with them, tomorrow they are coming after you. It's just like training monsters. When you train monsters, when they grow up, they definitely will be the next victim. So we appeal to Nigerians not to allow themselves to be cowed. And like it is also said, we also appeal that for us to maintain security, the armed forces and security agencies cannot be everywhere. We will try as much as possible to be there, but we're going to build the capacity of the locals to be able to defend themselves for a while before the military will come in. That we have adopted in the northeast with the civilian JTF, with the hybrid forces, and it has worked. We're also trying to do the same thing. We're working with the state government. We're not working in isolation. We know the relevance of the communities. We know the relevance of the state governments. So we're working as a team to ensure that we address these issues together. And the issue of Truji, like I said, is just a deranged individual that feels power, but I can bet you that it's just a matter of time. A matter of time, we're going to get this, and I can assure you, within the shortest possible time, we're going to address that issue and bring. Efforts have been made to ensure that we provide necessary security in all the schools. Those ones that are isolated, actions are being taken to ensure that it's either they are placed together where security could be provided, because we have so many thousands of schools scattered all over. So efforts have been made to make sure that we position them in such a way that troops will be able to respond in case there are any attacks or threats to the lives of the pupils in this school. So it's an ongoing operation.
With just days to the Edo State governorship election, the Transition Monitoring Group has identified issues relating to the undemocratic conduct of political party primaries, rising political thuggery, and the spread of violence and hate speech as potential threats. According to the chairman of TMG, Awa Rafsanjani, these disturbing occurrences in the state could truncate the process or, worse still, undermine the credibility, integrity, and safety of the electoral process. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, Rafsanjani highlighted multiple concerns that could stop the conduct of the elections.
If you want to be seen as a responsible institution, you must stay from the control and manipulation of politically exposed person, whether in government or outside government. The idea of deploying federal might to harass, intimidate in a state is condemnable and should not be seen happening. Otherwise, the legitimacy, the credibility of that process and that institution will continue to go down. Nigerians and the international community are watching. So if our institutions are being used to rig election, or are being used to create violence, or are being used to favor one candidate or the other, you are actually undermining that institution. And at the global rating, you will be rated in a very bad way. So I think our institutions should be, proud to make sure that they do not allow themselves to be misused, because that is really undermining the credibility of that institution.
We'll take a break now. When the news returns, America remembers lives lost in 9/11 2001 Al-Qaeda attack. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Let's take you through our major stories. As residents of Maiduguri count losses in the flooding disaster that has ravaged communities, the Nigerian government has begun evacuation exercise and opened up Bakassi camp to accommodate those displaced by the flood. A statement by the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA on Tuesday reveals it is working on the provision of food, shelter and medical assistance for the victims. NEMA's response came after President Tinubu ordered the agency to immediately swing into action and assist the flood victims. He also informed you that a federal high court sitting in Abuja has granted a 10 million naira bail each to the 10 members of the End Bad Governance protest who were charged with attempting to overthrow President Bola Tinubu between August 1 and 4 this year. While delivering ruling in their bail applications, Justice Emeka Nwite said the protesters must produce sureties who must be property owners in Abuja and must deposit documents of the properties to the court, in addition to swearing to affidavit of means. Justice Nwite also ordered the defendants not to participate in any public rally throughout their trial and to be remanded in prison custody pending the perfection of their bail conditions. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Let's now join Okoyemi Ojeni, who is on standby with the latest in the world of business. Over to you, Okoyemi.
Thank you, Simisola. Welcome to Business News. In an unprecedented move aimed at strengthening the economy and advancing financial inclusion, the Nigerian government has raised over $900 million from its first ever domestic federal government of Nigeria US dollar bond issuance. The Debt Management Office described the achievement as a pivotal step in Nigeria's economic development. On its part, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, announced that the bond issuance received an extraordinary 180% oversubscription, reflecting strong investor confidence in Nigeria's economic stability and growth perspectives, while the proceeds will be allocated to key economic sectors as approved by President Bola Tinubu. Still in the world of business, the Coalition for Good Governance has expressed concerns over what it termed the lack of transparency regarding the Dangote refinery's cost of production of premium malted spirit PMS per litre, saying that Nigerians deserve to know the true cost in order to ensure fair pricing, transparency and accountability. According to the group, made up of over 90 civil societies, the move is necessary after Dangote Refinery Company has said repeatedly that the price of its PMS will be determined by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Addressing a World Press Conference on the state of the nation on behalf of the group on Tuesday, the convener of Petroleum Awareness Forum, Nelson Ekujimi, also questioned the current logistics strategy for evacuating PMS solely via trucks by the company. He described the strategy as inefficient, adding that it risks further straining of the nation's transportation infrastructure.
It is disgraceful that Nigeria, the largest producer of oil and gas in Africa, does not have fully functional refineries. But we are encouraged by recent developments, particularly the progress of the Dangote refinery and the revitalization of our national refineries, which we hope will bring an end to our dependency on imported petroleum products and the drain on our scarce foreign resources. Dangote refinery, a step forward, but questions remain. While we celebrate the Dangote refinery as a monumental achievement, we are concerned by the lack of transparency regarding the refinery's cost of production of PMS per litre. Nigerians deserve to know the true cost of this crucial product to ensure fair pricing, transparency, and accountability. Additionally, we question the current logistics strategy for evacuating PMS solely via trucks, which is inefficient and risks further straining our transportation infrastructure. We urge the government to implement alternative logistics solutions, such as rail and water transportation, to improve efficiency, create jobs and wealth, sustain existing ones, and bolster national security.
We'll go on a short break now and be back with stock market reports. Welcome back. Nigeria's equities market is enjoying a green Wednesday, with the stock increasing by 0.62% and the market capitalization at 55.58 trillion naira. Now, leading the charge, Captain Offshore Support Group led the gainers with a 9.95 share percent appreciation, closing at 2 naira 10 kobo per share. It was followed closely by Red Star Express. Now, at the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we see a total of 600 million volumes of shares in 9,544 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 8 billion naira. Now, in a trailing turn of events compared to Tuesday, September 10th, trading volume scored by 50%, giving a boost to the market energy. However, turnover took a breather with a 23% dip, and the number of deals also eased off, dropping by 22%. Well, on the foreign scene, in contrast, Wall Street stocks turned sharply on Wednesday, and U.S. benchmark Treasury yields touched their lowest in over a year, as key inflation reports showed growth continues to meander down on an uneven path, leaving all global equities in the bears. Now, in the foreign exchange markets, the naira saw the first dip of the week, trading at 1,655 naira against the dollar on the black market. The pound traded at 2,200 naira, and the euros traded at 1,815 naira as well on the black market. That's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simisala, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okwemi. And on the foreign scene, Americans have gathered to commemorate the anniversary of 9/11 9/11, 22 years after the Al-Qaeda attack, as relatives read aloud the names of nearly 3,000 people who were killed. Shortly before the anniversary, officials in New York City identified 2 more victims. That's according to the mayor's office. Commemorations were held at the sites of the attack. That's at New York's World Trade Center, the Pentagon in Virginia, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where a plane crashed into a field after passengers overpowered the hijackers. The 9/11 attacks are the deadliest assault on U.S. soil since the 1941 Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, where 2,400 people were killed. Meanwhile, Iran has vowed to respond to fresh sanctions imposed by Britain, France and Germany over what they said was its supply of short-range missiles to Russia for use in Ukraine. The Foreign Ministry spokesman Nasser Kanani described the sanctions announced by Western countries as economic terrorism against the people of Iran and pledged that the 3 European countries would face appropriate and proportionate action. He described the reports on the alleged transfers as ugly propaganda used to conceal large illegal arms support of the United States and some Western countries for the genocide in Gaza. And on sports, the interim coach of the Super Eagles, Austin Eguavoen, has denied stepping down as the technical manager of the Super Eagles after the 2025 AFCON qualifiers against the Benin Republic and Rwanda. Eguavoen was appointed by the NFF to take charge of the 2 games following the inability of the Federation to secure the services of German tactician Bruno Labbadia over what they call stringent tax laws in Germany. The 59-year-old led Nigeria to a convincing 3-0 win over the Benin Republic in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State last Saturday before being held to a goalless draw in the second game of the series by Rwanda on Tuesday. Still on sports, Nigeria boys and girls basketball teams have advanced to the African Under-18 Basketball Championship quarterfinals, setting a new milestone for the national sport. The girls picked the quarterfinals slot as one of the best third-placed teams and will now play against Egypt on Wednesday in Pretoria, South Africa, while the boys are also through to the quarterfinals. Both teams are expected to represent Africa in the FIBA Under-18 World Cup taking place in Switzerland. Well, that's it on News Now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.